Welcome to the Man to Man Sports Podcast. This is Brad.
And I'm Ethan, and for episode 7, we are going over the Week 4 games.
Yes, a lot of exciting games coming up. But first, before we do that, we need to do our answers for the quiz.
Our trivia answers from last week. I'm looking forward to the answers. I got one of 3. I'm interested to see who the other 2 are.
Right, so the most receptions by a running back this century was a 3-way tie. You got CMC, Christian McCaffrey, with 15 catches in 2019 for the then respectable Carolina Panthers. Tied with him, also in 2019, was the San Diego Chargers' Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler, oh, what a classic.
And then the year before that, in 2018, when the record was initially set, that was by the Saints' Alvin Kamara.
Oh, wow, yeah, I think I remember that game. That was a really good game. He had like 5+ touchdowns. It's a really good game.
Yeah, it was very impressive. And I threw you the bonus question of who had the most catches of all time. And if you got this one, I will paint you impressed. Or I'll paint myself impressed, because this was a running back who not many people know the name of. Back in 1980 for the New York Jets, Clark Gaines.
Yeah, I've never heard that name before, so it's very impressive you got that one.
17 receptions in one game by a running back.
Wow, very impressive. And so we'll get into our Week 4 recap, starting off with the Thursday night game, of course. Good one between Seattle at Arizona.
Yeah, that's a good game. Arizona coming off a heartbreaker against the Niners. Seattle coming off the beatdown they gave the Saints. You said it's at Seattle?
No, this one's at Arizona.
Oh, wow. In Scottsdale, Arizona.
I've been there. Definitely an impressive stadium.
Yeah, so what's the line on this game, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, so Seattle's favored in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a nail-biter, I'm sure. Interesting to see how Sam Darnold does against a better defense. Can Marvin Harrison emerge as the number 1 receiver or star receiver for the Cardinals? Trey McBride have another good game in him. How will they respond without James Conner? A lot of questions for the Cardinals, but also for the Seattle Seahawks as well.
My biggest question this week is how Trey Benson steps in for James Conner's absence. It's going to be a big absence for that offense. Arizona's defense is going to have to go stride for stride with the Seahawks defense. The Seahawks defense is going to become ready to play. They're going to key on Trey McBride, understanding that's their big offensive weapon this week. They're going to keep Kyler in the pocket, or at least they're going to try. It's hard to keep Kyler in the pocket. That guy is fast. Watching him last week, you just forget how fast that man is until you watch him.
Yes, I think this is going to be a really fun game to watch. At the end of the day, I am going to take Seattle, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to the end. I'm going to say 21-20, Seattle Seahawks.
It's a really good score. I'm also going to go Seattle here. I think they're the better team all around, especially defensively. I think they win this game on that side of the ball. Yeah, I'm going to take the Seahawks in this game. I'll take them 17-16.
Good score. I think you're right. I think it's going to be a close game.
It's a really good game. And so we'll move on. We have a game in Dublin, Ireland this week. It's going to be a really good one between Minnesota, the favorites, against Pittsburgh.
Wow, I cannot believe Minnesota is favored with Carson Wentz at quarterback.
Yeah, I guess that beating they put on Cincinnati last week really impressed the people who make these lines. I disagree. I think Pittsburgh should be the favorites in this game. Pittsburgh's played really well all season. Even in their loss, where Minnesota can't say the same.
Yeah, now, if you're looking pound for pound, talent for talent, Minnesota may have more talent than Pittsburgh, but I think Pittsburgh has played as the better team so far with Aaron Rodgers. I feel like Rodgers has really kind of brought that team together. They're gelling well. I mean, very well for a team that had a lot of turnover this year.
True.
New starting quarterback, new starting running back, new star wide receiver. A lot of changes on this offense, yet they still playing very well, a very good football.
Yeah, playing it on both sides of the ball is very impressive. I want to see which team travels better in this game. I do agree Minnesota has insane talent, but they're injured right now. It's going to be a tough game for them to win. this is a great battle of coaches in between McConnell and, of course, Mike Tomlin. It's going to be a great mesh of great plays on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I love McCollum, former Washington quarterback coach. I think he is a quarterback whisperer.
Yes.
If anybody can fix Carson Wentz, it would be him.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think T.J. Watt is going to put too much pressure on the Vikings quarterbacks, and I like Pittsburgh in this game. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I'm going to say 28-24.
I got you. I liked what you said about they're going to T.J. Watt's going to be a big part of this game. Minnesota's still missing their star tackle Christian Darrisaw, and T.J. Watt's going to take full advantage of that.
Yeah, I agree. So what's your prediction?
What was your score?
28-24.
28-24. You got Pittsburgh. I mean, I got Pittsburgh too. I'll just take it a little bit slower. I'm going to go 24-21 Pittsburgh.
Very good. All right, what's the next game?
All right, we got the next game up. We got the LA Chargers going to New York playing the Giants. Chargers, big favorites.
Man, the Giants just have a rough schedule this year, don't they?
They do. It's a tough one to start out with. 4 really good teams.
Yeah, you said they're going with the rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart.
Unfortunately, so it's going to be a tough first game for him against this Chargers defense. It's proven themselves.
Yeah, the one thing the Giants do have is the Chargers are going to have to travel. The Chargers, they travel well to South America. I think they can handle New York.
Very true. I think Justin Herbert does what he's done all season. I think Amarion Hampton, like you said, Jim Harbaugh likes to run that ball. He's going to keep running that rock and let Justin Herbert fling that ball to 3 really good receivers.
Yeah, end of the day, I think the Chargers are just too good of a team. I think the Giants play well like they did against everybody else this season, but I think it's going to end up a lot like last week's score for the Giants. I think Chargers take this game. I'm going to say 28-13.
Yeah, our guy Cam Scadaboo probably has another good game because he's just talented.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be the focus of their game plan. They're probably going to run a lot of RPOs with Jackson Dart because it's his play style. I don't think it matters. I think the Chargers win this game handily. I think, let's say, 28-10 final score.
Very good, very good.
All right, so we move on to our next game, Tennessee at Houston. Houston being 6.5-point favorites, even though both teams are 0-3 looking for their first win.
Battle of the 0-3s. And I'm going to tell you, if Tennessee wins this game, which, let's be honest, they can, then you're going to hear all kinds of outrage from the Houston Texans fan base. They'll be calling for some heads to roll in Houston. I love Cam Ward. I like C.J. Stroud. I think he's playing right now with a lot of pressure. He's got that monkey on his back, and it's starting to show. But at the end of the day, I like Houston in this game.
Speaking of monkey on the back, this entire week, Tennessee fans have been calling for the head of their coach. And if he pulls out this game, like you said, Houston's now going to be the guys saying, we got to change something.
Yeah, in Tennessee, I kind of feel bad for Cam Ward. But also, there's just not a lot of talent on that team. I don't know how much you hold the coach responsible for that. I don't know how involved he is.
No, yeah, there's probably multiple people behind the scenes that don't get the spotlight like the head coach does. But even though he's in the spotlight, he's not taking it very well. He's bad at clock management. He's just not the best with interviewers. He talks down about his players in interviews, but I'm sure when you go to practice, you're trying to hype them up, but they hear what's happening in those interviews.
Yeah. Anyone that says they don't listen to the noise, usually they're listening to the noise. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I like Tennessee's players. I'm not high on this team as far as talent wise, though. There's a difference between character and talent, and so I think Houston wins this game, and I think it's a close game. I think Tennessee plays hard, but at the end of the day, I think Houston wins this game. I'm going to say 21-17.
Yeah, I think the huge defensive bout, Houston's defense takes advantage of going up against the rookie. I think Tennessee takes advantage going up against Joe Mixonless offense and C.J. Stroud, who's struggling right now. And so I will also take Houston, but it may be a little bit low scoring. I've been going low scoring this week. I'm going to go Houston let's go 17-14 victory.
Okay, all right. 3-point ball game. Defensive battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so we'll move on to the next game. A game that we'll actually be at. Washington being the favorites at Atlanta.
Yeah, I was very excited when we bought the tickets, but now it looks like we may be watching the game without Jaden Daniels or Terry McLaurin.
It's unfortunate. They're both questionable, though, so I'm holding hope. And Atlanta, they're coming off a bad loss. They're 1-2. They're going to have fire in their spirit.
Yeah, Atlanta lost a tough game to Washington last year that knocked them out of the playoff contention, put Washington firmly in playoff contention. And, it was really one of the first games for Penix.
Yeah.
He played kind of spotty. Daniels played like a hero, but it was a close game coming down to the end. I think Atlanta is fired up. They're going to want to get revenge on Washington from last year. They're going to want to prove that last week was a fluke, that they're not a bad team. But honestly, I think Washington, with or without Jaden Daniels, I think they have I don't want to say more potent offense, but I think they have a more rounded team and a better game plan.
I was thinking the same thing. That's why they buffed up their run defense. Because last year, Bijan, players like him, Saquon, were just taking advantage of that bad run defense. This year, a much improved run defense. It's not bottom 5 like it was last year.
No, far from it.
I think it's around middle of the league, which is a huge improvement. So I think if Washington comes in with the game plan to let Michael Penix beat you and stop Bijan first, I think they've got a chance. Penix, 2 interceptions last week. I think Washington takes this game with or without Jaden Daniels. I think it's going to be a blowout if Jaden's there. I think it's going to be a great game with Marcus Mariota in. I'm going to go 30-28 Washington.
I like that score. The one weakness I have noticed in Washington's defense, which if we've noticed it, then NFL coaches have noticed it.
Of course.
And that's the drag route. They struggle against the drag route, and Atlanta has some very good receivers, and so I look for them to take advantage of that. I look for them to go try a deep seam with Kyle Pitts a few times in the middle. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but at the end, I think Penix struggles turning the ball over again with that Washington pressure defense, and he makes a few mistakes, and I like Washington to win this game 34-31.
That's a good score. To bring back Penix, his big weakness, though, is throwing in the middle, which is Washington's weakness, is teams trying to throw in the middle. That drag route, because we run man and our cornerbacks are a little bit older. I'm mostly speaking about Lattimore. The rest of the corners do a good job. It's going to be tough for Penix to throw those out routes and corner routes that he likes to throw.
Yeah, this is not the team you want to throw an out route on, or it might be a pick six.
Exactly. Yeah, so good scores all around. And so we move on to our next game. A projected blowout. I agree. We got New Orleans going to Buffalo.
Oof, yeah, Buffalo is rolling. They've been rolling all year long, and the Saints are reeling after that loss. Going to go with Brandon Show at quarterback, Syracuse kid. Tough. We talked about what a tough order it was for Jackson Dart to go against the Chargers. And here we go with another rookie quarterback having to stand in against the Buffalo team that's just not only good on offense, but they've played well on defense as well.
Yeah, both sides of the ball, Buffalo's dominating. I think they do it in this game. Josh Allen throws 3+ touchdowns. I'm gonna go Buffalo in this game with a 34-13 victory.
Wow, it's similar to what I was going. I'm going even more though with Buffalo. I think it's going to be a 40-point game for Buffalo. So I'm going to say, we'll just say 43. I'll throw that number out there randomly. I don't know, 43 to 10.
I like that. All right, it's a really good score, and we'll move on to our next game: Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Philadelphia being 3.5-point favorites.
Two juggernaut teams here. Buccaneers are the Cardiac kids of this season. They're going to have to go without Mike Evans. Still no Chris Godwin. Going to be putting a lot on the shoulders of their rookie wide receiver in Buka and their tight end. And so I think it's going to be a tall order for Tampa Bay to try to pull this win out.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to pick Tampa Bay in this game because they look really good. They just somehow pull out all these games. But so do the Eagles. So it's two teams that just like to let it go down to the wire and then let their quarterback do what they do in the fourth quarter. I do think steps up, but I think Saquon Barkley is not going to have a week like he did last week. He just doesn't do that 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, this is my game of the week. I really like this game. I think honestly, the only hope Bucks have is the Eagles used all their energy and just burn out against the Rams, and that was a slobber knocker football game, and so maybe they come in a little bruised, and Tampa Bay can take advantage of that. But I like the Eagles in this game when it comes down to it.
Do you have a final score of this game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot like that Rams game, but I'm going to go a little lower score. I'm going to go. It's tough. I'm going to say 20-19 Eagles win.
2019 Eagles win. All right, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay because I just really want to. I don't know if they win or not, but I'm going to go Tampa Bay in this one. I'll go like 24-23 Tampa Bay.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah, and so we'll move on to the next game. Cleveland at Detroit. Detroit, huge favorites.
Yeah, no surprise, but hey, Cleveland beat the Packers last week, right?
Yeah, and the Packers beat Detroit, so.
Yeah, Joe Flacco is pumped, so ipso facto, the Cleveland Browns are better than the Detroit Lions. You heard it here first.
Yeah, exactly.
But Joe Flacco is fired up.
Yeah.
He's not playing for a paycheck. He's playing for wins. Yeah. I love players like that. I've never been a Flacco guy, but after watching him last week, I am fired up for the Browns themselves. I think they got something cooking with Quishon Judkins here, and so you never know, right?
Yeah, Myles Garrett, the leader of that defense. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I mean, Baltimore blew them out, but they show them their defense can step up and be that team, and I think they do it again this week. I don't think they upset this week, but I think their defense plays just as well. And I think Detroit has a huge time of possession advantage, just running the ball with their two workhorses. So I'm going to take Detroit in this one with a 20-13 victory.
I like that score. I was going to go low scoring as well. I'm going to go a little bit lower than you. I'm going to go 17-14.
I like that. Detroit?
Yes, I'm sorry, Detroit, yes.
Detroit. Okay, so we both got Detroit in that game. And so we'll move on to our next game, being Carolina at New England. New England, 5.5-point favorites. Even though Carolina just put up the first shutout of the season, I think it's going to be a really good defensive matchup.
Yeah, I was higher on both of these teams at the beginning of the year. I thought both these teams would be growing. I even thought Carolina, being in the South, might be able to, squeak into playoff contention.
I had the same thoughts, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case anymore. However, New England has disappointed me as well.
Yeah.
I thought there would be more maturation so far this season with their quarterback, Drake May. Not that he can't still do that this year, but I think he's a little bit behind what I thought he would be at this point.
Yeah, he can throw the ball. Like, he's really good. He just needs to cut down on the turnover problems. As we know, Baker started his career had turnover problems, but we knew he could throw the ball.
Yeah, if you want to see turnover problems as a rookie, look at Peyton Manning's rookie year.
Yeah.
He turned out all right. I think he still holds the record for most interceptions in a season. So, at the end of the day, though, you've got New England, who is a new coach. You got the Panthers, who will be playing. If they have respect for their coach, they're going to be playing for him this year because this is his last season unless they start to produce.
Yeah, they just need to run the ball like they did last week. Chuba had a good week, and I think they have a chance in this game, but I'm still going to go New England. I think, like I said, Drake May comes out and shows up. Even though it's going to be a huge defensive bout, I'm going to take them in a 18-16 victory.
Okay, well, I was going to go New England, but I think for this week I'm going to go Panthers.
Upset of the week?
Not yet. No, I'm not going to dub that one. But I do like the Panthers in this game and a back and forth game, and I think the Panthers win this game. Let's say 30-27.
30-27, so much higher scoring than I have it.
Yeah. I think there's not that it's going to be highly efficient offensively. I think
Oh, I
it's
see
going to be
what you mean.
sloppy football game.
Okay, defenses get their offense good position and they just take advantage of it.
Yeah.
All right, I like that prediction. And so we'll move on to our next game, being the Jacksonville Jaguars at San Francisco. An undefeated team going up against a really good team who just happened to lose 1 week.
Yeah, Jacksonville has been fun to watch. Trevor Lawrence seems to be finally coming into his own. Like you said, spreading that ball around, so it's hard to focus in on one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I think teams have been doing that this year,
Yeah.
and they've lost because of it.
Yeah, everyone thought coming in the season Brian Thomas is that dude, and that's probably why he's getting like double covered. But Trevor Lawrence sees that. He's like, all right, I got De'Ami Brown, I got Britton Strange, I got the rookie Bashawn Tubin, I got ETN. He's got so many weapons.
He does. For the first time really in his career, he's got weapons.
And that he's healthy, yes.
Yeah, so it's fun to watch Jacksonville. San Francisco, on the other hand, still is Purdy playing? We don't know yet.
We don't know yet, but that defense is playing.
Yeah, as you called it, the offense for dummies, like any quarterback. Just insert NFL quarterback here and you can win, right?
Yeah.
The defense is amazing. Fred Warner is playing on the MVP level, in my opinion, or defensive MVP at least.
Yeah, him showing up, even though they lost Drake Greenlaw and Hufanga, I thought that would take a huge hit on the defense. Fred Warner stepped up to the plate. Like, they got Lenore on the outside. They replaced Hufanga with a good safety who's been doing just as good. Defense is top 3 in just about every statistic. And I really like them. I really like Jacksonville, though, too. Jacksonville's defense is underrated, playing really well.
Yeah, in my opinion, somebody may win big. The Niners may blow them out with them traveling, but I think this is a coin flip game here.
Yeah. This is going to be my upset of the week. Yeah, I'm going to take Jacksonville on the road. Like I said, I really like the team. I think they give San Francisco their first loss. Not saying San Francisco is going to lose badly. So I got Jaguars in a 21-20 victory with last-second field goal.
I like that a lot. I think this is going to be a really fun game to watch. I think San Francisco is a little better defensively than Jacksonville is offensively. And, man, it's a tough one, but I'm going to go with the home team on this one. San Francisco in a nail-biter 17-14.
I like that score. I think it's going to be low scoring as well. And so we'll move on to the next game. In between the Indianapolis Colts at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams being the favorite.
I would agree with that. I think the Colts have played really good, but the Rams have played a much harder schedule. The Rams have been there. They were in the playoffs last year, losing a heartbreaker to the Eagles again last year in the playoffs. Coming off the same thing this year, this week, I think they're going to be looking for a little payback, and I think the Colts are going to be the recipient of that.
And unfortunate for the Colts, but I agree. I'm glad that the people who set these lines see that the Rams are legit. Even though the Colts offense is legit, the defense causes turnovers. I think with this Rams offense, they don't give up many turnovers. And so I don't think the Colts can take advantage of that and be able to score that 30-plus point game. I think they're going to have to, for the first time, try to play in these 10, 20-point games with this Rams defense.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, if the Colts can stay on the field, if they can run effectively against the Rams, which to note the Eagles couldn't.
Very good.
Then they have a really fighter's chance. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be too much pressure on Danny Dimes for this game because I think it's going to have to be won in the air by both teams. I think both run defenses are good enough, and the Rams have the better quarterback.
Yeah, the more experienced quarterback. Daniel Jones has been playing great this year, but he hasn't played. He's played the Broncos defense. They slightly won that one, but it was still a 30-point game. This game's not going to go to 30 points. I think the Rams take this one, and I think they take it in a 20-17 victory over the Colts.
I think it's going to be a little bit more lopsided than that, but still not a huge difference. I'm going 28-20 with the Rams.
You know what? That's a good score. I like that. So we'll move on to our next game. This one, like we said, so many good games this week. It's hard to pick a game of the week. This will be my game of the week. We got Baltimore, 2.5-point favorites over Kansas City. Like we said, 2 1-2 teams fighting to have playoff contention. That's why we have them both. That's why we both had them in our 10th slot in our top 10 teams from our last episode.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens have a top-notch offense. On the flip side of that, their defense struggles. Kansas City, the offense struggles more, and the defense is pretty stable.
Yeah.
And so, which one's going to prevail? I like Andy Reid slightly better as a coach, but I think Lamar Jackson right now he is lights out. I don't think you can argue there's a better quarterback in the league right now.
Yeah, something that's worth noting in this game is Xavier Worthy's questionable to come back. If Xavier Worthy comes back, this game's going to be totally different. Mahomes is having to spread the ball around to receivers he wasn't used to throwing to over training camp. But now if he gets Xavier Worthy back, this will be the first full game he'll get to play.
Yeah, and having him back and with the emergence of Thornton last week, I think the Chiefs' offense will be doing much better this week against a Ravens defense that struggles. However, I've not been impressed with Kansas City's running game, and obviously if the Ravens can slow down on offense a little bit and just keep their defense give their defense a little rest, I think it's the Ravens game. I think it's aptly that they are favored in this game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good game. It's being at Kansas City. It's going to be tough to go there and beat them at their home field. I do like Baltimore, though. I want to hear your final score prediction.
Man, it's hard for me to pick Baltimore at this point. They cannot seem to beat the better teams. They lose these close games every week. One
of these teams have to be a good team. Both these teams have been struggling this year against good teams.
Yeah, and so when you look at the history of it, Mahomes has certainly done that more than Lamar Jackson.
Very true.
Having said that, I'm taking the Ravens. I think it's going to be a close, high-scoring game, 34-31 Baltimore.
Yeah, so you think the offense prevails, and I agree. So I'm going to go 35-33 in Baltimore.
Very good.
Yeah, so we'll move on to the next game. Chicago at Las Vegas. Las Vegas, slight favorites.
Vegas is the favorites here.
Yeah.
Caleb coming off his best game ever. Dunze looking like he has looked all year. The Bears defense playing good enough.
Yeah, 2 good games and just one really bad one.
Yeah, and then you look at the Raiders, who looked pretty decent their first 2 weeks, but then they took a butt whooping last week.
Yeah, I think we disagree about the Raiders. I don't think they look good at all. Geno Smith's playing the worst he's ever played. The offensive line's giving no help to Geno nor Genti. The offense looks flat. The defense stapled by Max Crosby. If he gets pressure, it's good, and if he doesn't get pressure, they look bad. So it's basically all dependent on Crosby and the offensive line by the Raiders. And Chicago, I think it's all dependent on Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I think that's a very good analysis. Geno is struggling, and people are really pointing to Ashton Genti as a bust. And
I don't see it.
I don't see it. He has nowhere to run.
Yes.
And
when they give him room to run, he breaks tackles by linebackers and safeties. But if he's getting hit in the backfield, it's tough for any running back to get out of.
Yeah, this Raiders offensive line is one of the worst I've seen so far this season. And, I'm surprised they're favored, to be honest.
I agree.
Especially the Bears coming off the victory they had and the whooping that the Raiders took last week. So at the end of the day, I'm taking the Bears as my upset of the week.
That's a good upset, yes.
And I like Caleb Williams to have another big game, throwing the football. But if Max Crosby gets in his head, this could be a nail-biter that the Raiders can pull out. At the end of the day, the Bears have to focus on Ashton Genti and Brock Bowers on defense. And on offense, they need to focus on keeping Max Crosby away from Caleb Williams.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's all dependent on Caleb Williams and Max Crosby. Caleb Williams sometimes like to hold the ball. You can't do that against Max Crosby. You got to play that Ben Johnson offense where you just get the ball out. You just get it out. You hand the ball off. Just quick plays. Max Crosby, known to get into young quarterbacks' minds quote from last season. Bo Nix, they can't effing hear you. And he screamed that because Bo Nix was kind of whispering to his O-line trying to change protection, and the wide receivers were like, what? And Max Crosby called him out for that. I could see him doing the same with Caleb Williams, trying to get into his head.
Yeah, I like Crosby as a player. Him and Myles Garrett are fun to watch. You could put T.J. Watt and Micah Parsons in that group as well. This is a special time in the NFL with some elite edge rushers, and
Yes.
we're really seeing some greatness on the field. At the end of the day, though, I am picking the Bears in this game. I do think it's going to be a back and forth, sloppy football game, but a higher scoring game, and so I'm taking the Bears 27-24.
I like that score. I'm going to go 28-21 Bears. And so we'll move on to our Sunday night game in between Green Bay, favored against Dallas, at Dallas.
I mean, this game has upset written on it. We know that the Cowboys can score a lot of points.
Yeah, it's going to be tough without CD, but it's definitely an upset alert.
Yeah, I think the Packers really kind of maybe overlooked the Browns a little bit last week.
Mm-hmm.
They left opportunities on the field, they left points on the field, I should say, and it ended up to biting them against the Browns. The Cowboys don't have the Browns defense.
They don't. It's a free range when it comes to throwing, and that's when Jordan Love likes to show out. He's going to spread the ball around. We know it's not going to just be one receiver. If it is one guy, it's going to be the tight end.
Yeah. Tucker Kraft has had a good year so far, but like you said, Love likes to spread the ball around.
He does.
They run the ball very well with Josh Jacobs, who has really scored touchdown after touchdown, game after game.
Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't get one last week, but he was on a streak of 15 in a row. It's just crazy, even in its own.
Yeah, it had to end sometime, but I look for him to score against this Dallas Cowboys defense, who does decent against the run. It seems to be their passing, but at the end of the day, I like the Green Bay Packers offensive line, and I think that they're going to be able to do what they want. It's just, can the Cowboys keep up with them in the score?
Yeah, that's exactly the question. I don't think they do. I got the Packers in this one. I'll take it 35-27 Packers.
I think I think the Packers are upset with what happened last week.
Exactly.
I think as the Cowboys will look at what the Browns done,
Yeah.
I don't think they have the talent to emulate that on the defensive side of the football. And I think Green Bay wins this game like 30-17.
30-17. I like that score. And so we'll move on to our first Monday night game. Again, we have 2 Monday night games this week. This one being an AFC clash against the Jets at Miami. Miami being favored.
The 2 Ophers, right?
Yeah, 2 more 0-3 teams going at it. I guess since it's at Miami, they said Miami. I don't know if Justin Fields is playing this week. I don't know if it's been announced yet.
Yeah, I think that's really what decides this ball game. Tua is Tua. The Dolphins have the weapons. They seem to have trouble facilitating to those weapons. Defense-wise, I like the Jets better. So it really depends on whether Justin Fields plays or not. If Fields plays, I like the Jets in this game.
Yeah, I think Tua throws another interception. If you're betting this week, my favorite bet this week is Sauce Gardner interception. Yeah, he hasn't got one yet. He's probably looking for it, and the best person to get that is against Tua. So I like the Jets defense showing out this week. I like, even if Tyrod Taylor's in, I like Breece Hall having a good game this week against the Miami defense that hasn't shown up yet.
I think that's a good call. The only thing is if Miami can run the ball against this Jets defense, then they've got an upper hand, especially if Fields is out. So I'm going to pretend like Fields plays, and I'm picking the Jets. But, even if he doesn't play, Tyrod's not a bad replacement. And so I'm going to stick with the Jets pick as well. The score, I think, depends on Fields, but we'll say Jets 21-14.
I think it's a good take. I think the score definitely depends on if Fields is there. I think both teams run, so it's not going to be a lot of scoring, a bunch of long drives in between 2 good run teams. And so I'll take the Jets in this one. in a 24-17 victory.
Very good. Okay.
And so we move on to the last game of this week, our second Monday night game, Cincinnati at Denver. Denver, huge favorites.
Yeah. Cincinnati really laid an egg last week. Browning, we bragged on him when he come in and won the game 2 weeks ago, and then against Minnesota, he looked like a backup quarterback.
He looked really bad. A lot of turnovers. It's not going to be much easier against this Denver defense.
Yeah, Denver defense is, we've talked about it all year. It is top notch. We saw a lot of maturity coming from their quarterback last week. They ran the ball well against the team I thought they might struggle against. I think Denver is by far the better team here.
Yeah, Bo Nix just needs to put it together for 4 straight quarters. He just hasn't done that yet in his career. He has games where he's good in the second half. He has games where he's good for 3 quarters. Against Buffalo in the playoffs last year, he didn't play good in any quarter. And so he's got to put it together for 4 straight quarters, especially to win this game. Cincinnati, underrated 2-1 team. Jake Browning, though, being the quarterback, I do think Denver wins this one. I think Denver runs the ball. They throw it to Cortland Sutton. They get back on that route, and the defense just destroys Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Denver. I'm taking Denver 20-10.
I like that. I think it's a 10-point game as well. I'm going to take them 24-14.
Very good. All right.
So we move on to our next segment, boom or bust in fantasy. We love to play a little bit of fantasy. I think I'm 0 for 6 on my boom and bust this year. But hopefully we improve this week. And you've been actually doing really well at your boom and bust.
I feel like I am 5-1 with my boom and bust. So
that's really good.
I think I've gotten all 4 of my booms, and all but Tyler Warren. I'm sorry, Tyler Warren. You were right and I was wrong.
Yeah, he's always right. He's playing good.
But I'll start out with my first boom. We talked about it a little bit, and that's going to be, I think the Chargers run the ball well this week, and I like Omari Hampton to have another 100-yard game.
That's a good prediction. He's got the wheel started last week. You expect him to continue getting those yards?
I do. I think the Chargers look good. They do what they want to, and Hampton's the recipient of those yards.
Yeah, I like that. I'll go with my first boom in the same division. I've got Brock Bowers having a good game this week. I think he's finally going to be playing healthy. Even though I say Chicago wins that game and Las Vegas offense has been struggling, I think Brock Bowers has not been struggling. He's just been injured. He had a really good week 1 game. He's played injured the past 2 weeks. You could tell in the fourth quarter he was starting to loosen up, and he was actually getting some balls. And I think they just continue to go to the well. I think Brock Bowers, even though he's projected 14 points, I think he scores around 18 points this week in a boom.
Yeah, Brock Bowers is the number 1 tight end for a reason.
Yes.
And I certainly agree with that pick. Moving on to my second boom pick, another tight end who has had a good year. I like Tucker Kraft against the Cowboys.
Tucker Kraft, yeah, we talked about him. If there's a number 1 receiver for Jordan Love, it is Tucker Kraft.
That is right, and he's had a good year so far. A little bit of a skid last week, but I like for him to come back this week strong, getting a 15 fantasy points.
I like that prediction. 15 is a good number. And so I'll do my second boom now. I'm going a little weird here. I'm going to go with the kicker boom this week. Since I'm 0-6, I'm going to go for a little easy pitch down the middle. I'm going to go with Eddie Pinheiro getting over 8 points. He's been perfect all season, scoring 6 last week. This San Francisco team, I think, kicks a couple of field goals in this Jacksonville game.
I like that pick as well. I think the Niners win with an Eddie Pinheiro field goal.
I think it's a good prediction. I can see that game going either way, and it is going to be up to the kickers, which one's more accurate.
Yeah, and I'm going back to the well with my bust here. We talked about that Packers-Cowboys game.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a rough week for Dak Prescott. I think that CeeDee Lamb does not play. I think this is a revenge game for a certain defensive player that was traded.
Yeah, it's true. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, I think the Packers win big this week against Dallas.
He knows how to get to Dak for sure, and so it's going to get into Dak's head. Yeah. I like that pick. My bust this week, also a quarterback, one we talked about earlier. We really like Jake Brown, but he projected 20 points this week. I just don't see that happening against a good Denver defense. in prime time. I think Pastor Ten has a good game. I think Zach Allen has a good game. I think all around the board, that defense is going to show out against Jake Browning.
Yeah, I think Denver's defense eats. I think on primetime they show why they were a playoff team last year,
Exactly.
and that they may be the best 2-2 team after this week in the league.
Yeah, it's a very good take. And so that's our boom and bust segment of the week. Let us know who you think's going to boom this week, and if you like our boom and bust, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely. Our goal was to get to 25 subscribers.
We're still on that goal.
We'd really like to get to that 25 if you guys can help us out.
Yeah, we much appreciate you watching episode 8 of the Man to Man Sports Podcast.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Hope you tune in next week, and get ready for some football this week, and bring the thunder, baby.
Boom.